The Terran exploration fleet had been traveling through the vast emptiness of deep space for over a decade. Their mission was to make first contact with any intelligent alien civilizations and to establish peaceful relations on behalf of humanity. After years of navigating uncharted regions, their advanced sensors finally detected signs of an advanced technological presence. Captain John Alvarez, a seasoned veteran of interstellar exploration, carefully maneuvered the lead vessel towards the source of the readings. "Prepare the diplomatic team and set up a secure communications channel," he ordered. "It's time to make history." Within hours, the Terran fleet made visual contact with an enormous alien warship, its sleek, angular design unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Alvarez held his breath as a series of complex transmissions were exchanged between the two vessels. After what seemed like an eternity, a response came through. "This is Supreme Commander Xyzoth of the Galactic Hegemony. You have entered our territorial space without authorization. Identify yourselves immediately or be destroyed." Alvarez swallowed hard, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "I am Captain John Alvarez of the Terran Exploration Fleet. We come in peace, seeking to make first contact and establish diplomatic relations." He paused, gauging the alien's reaction. "We mean you no harm." Xyzoth's reply was cold and unyielding. "Humans, you are a primitive, uncivilized species. Your presence in our domain is an intrusion. You will surrender your vessel and crew or be annihilated." Alvarez's brow furrowed as he processed the alien's words. "We are not here to fight. We simply wish to learn about your civilization and explore the possibility of cooperation." "Cooperation?" Xyzoth scoffed. "Humans, you have nothing to offer the galactic hegemony. Your technology is inferior, your culture is barbaric, and your species is of no consequence to us. You will be absorbed or destroyed. There is no other option." The crew on the bridge exchanged nervous glances, the tension palpable. Alvarez knew he had to tread carefully, lest this first contact spiral into a full-blown confrontation. "Supreme Commander Xyzoth, I urge you to reconsider your position. We are a peaceful people, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. I ask that you grant us the opportunity to demonstrate our capabilities and the value we can bring to your civilization." Xyzoth let out a chilling laugh. "Demonstrate your capabilities. Humans, you are no match for the might of the hegemony. Your defiance will be your undoing." Without warning, the alien vessel's weapon systems powered up, their energy signatures spiking on the Terran sensors. Alvarez's eyes widened as he realized the gravity of the situation. "All hands, prepare for battle," he shouted. "We've been ordered to surrender or be destroyed. I won't let that happen. Not on my watch." The Terran fleet scrambled to assume defensive positions, their powerful energy shields activating just as the alien warship unleashed a devastating barrage of firepower. The initial exchange of blasts rocked the vessels, but the human technology held firm, much to the surprise of the hegemony commander. "Impossible," Xyzoth growled. "Your primitive shields should not be able to withstand our weapons. What trickery is this?" Alvarez's lips curled into a confident smile. "This is no trick, Supreme Commander. Humanity has been underestimated for far too long. We are a resilient and adaptable species, and we will not be subjugated by your threats of annihilation." As the battle raged on, the humans showcased their prowess in maneuvering and counterattacking, much to the hegemony's dismay. Xyzoth realized that this first encounter had taken an unexpected turn, and that the Terran exploration fleet was far more capable than he had anticipated. The clash of the two civilizations had begun, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The battle between the Terran exploration fleet and the galactic hegemony warship raged on, with both sides showcasing their formidable technological capabilities. The human vessel's shields held firm against the aliens' powerful energy weapons, much to the shock and dismay of Commander Xyzoth. "Impossible." Xyzoth seethed, his mandibles clicking in frustration. "Your primitive technology should not be able to withstand the might of the hegemony." Captain John Alvarez's lips curled into a confident grin. You've clearly underestimated the ingenuity and adaptability of the human race, Supreme Commander. We are a force to be reckoned with. The Terran ships maneuvered with grace and precision, their advanced propulsion systems allowing them to evade the hegemony's devastating attacks. In response, the alien warship unleashed a barrage of concentrated energy blasts, testing the limits of the human shields. Alvarez's brow furrowed as he watched the energy readings on his console spike. Divert more power to the forward shields, he ordered. We can't sustain this level of bombardment for much longer. The crew sprang into action, rerouting energy from non-essential systems to bolster the ship's defenses. The Terran vessel's shields held, but the strain was evident. Sensing an opportunity, Sezoth ordered his ship to cease fire. Humans, you have proven yourselves to be more resilient than we expected. However, your persistence will only serve to hasten your demise. Alvarez tensed, his hand hovering over the weapon's control panel. What are you planning, Sezoth? I am granting you a reprieve, Captain Alvarez, the alien commander replied, his voice dripping with condescension. You will be allowed to return to your primitive homeworld and deliver a message to your leaders. Tell them that the galactic hegemony has deemed your species unfit for inclusion in our civilization. Surrender unconditionally or be destroyed. The Terran crew exchanged worried glances, the weight of Sezoth's ultimatum settling heavily upon them. Alvarez knew that this was no mere posturing. The hegemony was a formidable force, and they had the power to make good on their threats. We will not surrender, Sezoth, Alvarez said, his voice steady and resolute. Humanity will never bow to your demands. If you wish to destroy us, then so be it, but we will not go quietly. Sezoth's eyes narrowed, his mandibles parting in a sinister grin. So be it then. Your fate is sealed, Captain Alvarez. The galactic hegemony will erase your species from existence. With that, the alien warship's engines roared to life, and it began to power up its weapon systems once more. Alvarez's heart raced as he realized that the hegemony had no intention of allowing the Terran fleet to return home. All hands, prepare for a full-scale assault. Alvarez shouted, We must defend ourselves at all costs. The human vessels braced for the coming onslaught, their crews steeling themselves for what could be their final battle. Alvarez knew that the fate of humanity hung in the balance, and he was determined to ensure that their species would not be easily vanquished. As the hegemony warship unleashed its devastating firepower, the Terran fleet responded with a barrage of their own, their weapons blazing with raw power. The two civilizations clashed in a titanic struggle, each side fighting for their very existence. The future of the galaxy was now uncertain, as the human race stood poised to defy the might of the galactic hegemony and defend their right to exist. The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome of this conflict would determine the course of history. The battle between the Terran exploration fleet and the galactic hegemony warship raged on, with both sides unleashing devastating firepower. The human vessel's shields held strong, much to the frustration of Commander Sezoth. Impossible. Sezoth growled, his mandibles clicking in anger. Your technology should not be able to withstand the might of the hegemony. Captain John Alvarez's eyes narrowed as he watched the alien ship's weapon systems power up for another volley. All ships, brace for impact, he ordered, his voice calm and steady. The hegemony's energy blasts slammed into the Terran shields, the impact sending shockwaves through the human vessels. Alvarez gripped the armrests of his chair, his knuckles turning white. Reroute all available power to the forward shields, he commanded. We can't take another hit like that. The crew sprang into action, their fingers dancing across the consoles as they diverted energy from non-essential systems. The Terran ships weathered the assault, their defenses holding firm. Sezoth's eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible. Your primitive technology should not be able to withstand our weapons. Alvarez seized the opportunity, his voice echoing with authority. Enough, Sezoth. It's time we made our position clear. The captain's fingers flew across the communications console, and within moments, a powerful transmission was beamed towards the Hegemony warship. "This is Captain John Alvarez of the Terran Exploration Fleet. We come in peace, seeking to establish diplomatic relations with your civilization. However, your unprovoked aggression and threats of annihilation will not be tolerated." Scyzoth's mandibles clicked in annoyance, but Alvarez pressed on, his tone unwavering. "The human race is a proud and resilient species. We have endured countless challenges throughout our history, and we have always emerged stronger. We will not surrender to your demands, nor will we bow to your threats of destruction." The Terran crew watched in anticipation, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. "If you choose to continue your attack, we will be forced to respond with the full might of our military might. We do not seek war, but we will defend ourselves and our homeworld to the last. This is your final warning, Scyzoth. Cease your hostilities and withdraw, or face the consequences." Silence hung in the air as the Hegemony commander processed Alvarez's words. The tension was palpable, and the fate of the two civilizations hung in the balance. Scyzoth's mandibles parted in a chilling laugh. "Humans, you are more foolish than I thought. Do you truly believe you can stand against the power of the galactic hegemony?" The alien warship's weapon systems powered up, their energy signatures spiking on the Terran sensors. Alvarez's jaw tightened, his resolve unwavering. "So be it, Scyzoth. You have chosen your path. Now, face the consequences." With a nod, Alvarez gave the order to unleash the full might of the Terran Exploration Fleet. The human ships responded with a barrage of powerful energy beams and missiles, their technological prowess on full display. The battle raged on, the two civilizations clashing in a desperate struggle for survival. Scyzoth's confidence began to waver as the human vessels proved their mettle, their shields and weapons proving more than a match for the hegemony's formidable arsenal. As the clash continued, Alvarez knew that the fate of humanity rested on the outcome of this encounter. They had drawn a line in the sand, and there was no turning back. The Terran race had issued its ultimatum, and now they had to be prepared to back it up with the full force of their might. The future of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the human race was ready to fight for its place among the stars. As the fierce battle between the Terran Exploration Fleet and the Galactic Hegemony warship unfolded in the depths of space, a sense of urgency gripped the leadership of the human civilization back on Earth. The news of the first contact and the ensuing confrontation had spread like wildfire, sparking a flurry of activity in the halls of power. President Evelyn Garrison, the elected leader of the United Nations, convened an emergency meeting of her top military and diplomatic advisors. "Gentlemen, the situation is dire," Garrison began, her brow furrowed with concern. "Our exploration fleet has been engaged in a battle with an alien civilization known as the Galactic Hegemony. They have issued an ultimatum: surrender or be destroyed." The room fell silent as the implications of her words sank in. General Samuel Ramirez, the commanding officer of the Terran Defense Force, cleared his throat. "Madam President, we must act swiftly and decisively. The hegemony has clearly underestimated the capabilities of our exploration fleet, but we cannot assume they will make that mistake again. We must prepare for the possibility of a full-scale conflict." Garrison nodded gravely. "I agree, General. We must mobilize our forces and ensure that we are ready to defend our homeworld and our people at all costs." With a few swift keystrokes, Ramirez activated a series of holographic displays, showcasing the vast array of military assets at the Terran Defense Force's disposal. "We have been working tirelessly to develop new technologies and strengthen our defenses," he explained. "Our advanced warships, equipped with powerful energy shields and advanced weaponry, are ready to be deployed. Additionally, we have been investing heavily in the development of cutting-edge antimatter propulsion systems and directed energy weapons." The President's eyes widened as she took in the sheer scale and sophistication of the human military's capabilities. "This is impressive, General. But will it be enough to stand against the might of the galactic hegemony? Ramirez's expression hardened. We will make it enough, Madam President. Our people are united, and they are ready to defend our way of life. We will not go down without a fight. Garrison's gaze swept across the assembled military and diplomatic leaders, her resolve strengthening. Then let's get to work. We must ensure that our exploration fleet has the support they need to hold their ground and deliver a clear message to the hegemony. Humanity is not to be trifled with. The room erupted into a flurry of activity, with everyone present springing into action. Ramirez barked orders, coordinating the rapid deployment of the Terran Defense Force's most advanced assets. Diplomats scrambled to establish communication channels with other starfaring civilizations, seeking potential allies in the impending conflict. As the preparations unfolded, a sense of purpose and determination permeated the global population. Across the world, citizens rallied behind their leaders, offering their support and resources in the face of the looming alien threat. The human race had been issued a challenge, and they were more than ready to rise to the occasion. The galactic hegemony had made a grave mistake in underestimating the resilience and tenacity of humanity. Back in the depths of space, Captain John Alvarez and his crew continued to hold their ground against the hegemony's onslaught, buying precious time for their homeworld to mobilize its defenses. They knew that the fate of their civilization hung in the balance, and they were prepared to fight to the last. The stage was set for a momentous clash that would echo through the annals of history, as the human race stood poised to assert its place among the stars. The battle between the Terran exploration fleet and the galactic hegemony warship raged on, with both sides unleashing their full technological might. Captain John Alvarez watched the energy readings on his console spike as the human ships weathered the aliens' devastating barrage. Divert all available power to the forward shields, he ordered, his voice betraying a hint of strain. We can't keep this up much longer. The crews sprang into action, rerouting energy from non-essential systems to bolster the Terran vessel's defenses. The shields held, but the strain was evident. Across the void of space, Commander Xizov's mandibles clicked in frustration. Impossible. Your primitive technology should not be able to withstand the firepower of the hegemony. Alvarez's lips curled into a confident grin. You've clearly underestimated the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the human race. Xizov, we are more than a match for your so-called might. The hegemony warship unleashed another volley of energy blasts, each one more powerful than the last. The human ships retaliated with a barrage of their own, their advanced weapon systems cutting through the aliens' defenses with startling precision. Xizov's eyes widened in shock as he witnessed the extent of the Terran fleet's capabilities. How is this possible? He snarled. Simple, Xizov, Alvarez replied, his voice dripping with triumph. We've been holding back. You see, the human race has been quietly developing technologies far beyond your comprehension. And now we're ready to show you the true extent of our power. With a nod, Alvarez gave the order to unleash the Terran fleet's secret weapon, a devastating energy beam that had been designed specifically to counter the hegemony's advanced shielding systems. The beam lanced out, slicing through the hegemony warship's defenses like a hot knife through butter. The alien vessel rocked under the impact, its shields flickering and failing. Xizov's mandibles clicked in a mixture of fear and disbelief. No, this cannot be. Alvarez's expression darkened as he surveyed the damaged hegemony ship. This is your final warning, Xizov. Withdraw your forces and leave our territory, or suffer the consequences of your arrogance. The hegemony commander's eyes narrowed, his resolve hardening. Never human. The galactic hegemony will not be cowed by your pitiful display of force. We will crush you and your pathetic species. With a roar of rage, Xizov unleashed a barrage of devastating weaponry, his ship's firepower intensifying to a level that threatened to overwhelm the Terran fleet's defenses. Alvarez gritted his teeth as he watched the energy reading soar. Brace for impact, he shouted. The human vessels weathered the assault, their shields flaring and flickering under the onslaught. But the Terran crews held their ground, their determination unwavering. As the battle raged on, the shockwaves of the clash began to reverberate across the galaxy. The galactic hegemony's arrogance had been shattered, and the human race had emerged as a formidable adversary, one that could not be ignored or dismissed. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, as the two civilizations clashed in a desperate struggle for supremacy. The Terran exploration fleet had proven its mettle, but the true test was yet to come. The clash between the Terran exploration fleet and a galactic hegemony warship had escalated into a desperate struggle, with both sides unleashing their full technological might. Captain John Alvarez watched as the human vessels weathered the aliens' devastating barrage, their advanced shields and weaponry holding firm against the hegemony's onslaught. Across the void of space, Commander X'Zoth's mandibles clicked in a mixture of shock and disbelief. Impossible. How can your primitive technology stand against the power of the hegemony? Alvarez's lips curled into a confident grin. You've clearly underestimated the capabilities of the human race. We are not the fragile, uncivilized species you thought us to be. The hegemony warship continued to bombard the Terran ships, but the human vessels responded with a barrage of their own, their advanced energy weapons slicing through the aliens' defenses with devastating precision. X'Zoth's eyes widened as he watched his ship's shields flickering and failing under the relentless assault. No, this cannot be happening. It's happening, X'Zoth, Alvarez said, his voice laced with a hint of triumph. The galactic hegemony has met its match, and it's the human race. The battle raged on, with the Terran fleet showcasing its superior maneuvering and tactical skills. X'Zoth's crew scrambled to adapt to the humans' unpredictable and innovative tactics, but their efforts were in vain. Realizing that his ship was on the verge of being crippled, X'Zoth made a desperate gamble. He ordered his vessel to execute a series of high-speed maneuvers, trying to break free of the Terran's clutches. But the human pilots were more than a match for X'Zoth's evasive maneuvers. They tracked the hegemony warship's movements with precision, their own ships darting and weaving through the void with grace and agility. Alvarez's eyes narrowed as he studied the tactical display. All ships, lock on to the hegemony vessel and prepare to deliver the final blow. The Terran vessels unleashed a devastating salvo of energy beams and missiles, their firepower concentrated on the crippled hegemony warship. X'Zoth could only watch in horror as his once formidable vessel was reduced to a smoldering wreck, its shields and weapons systems completely disabled. The shockwaves of the battle reverberated across the galaxy, sending shockwaves through the hegemony's leadership. X'Zoth's failure to subdue the human fleet had shattered the aura of invincibility that had long surrounded the galactic hegemony. In the aftermath of the clash, the Terran exploration fleet emerged victorious, their crew celebrating their hard-won triumph. But Alvarez knew that this was only the beginning of a much larger conflict. "Prepare a secure transmission, Lieutenant," he ordered, his gaze fixed on the damaged hegemony warship. "It's time we deliver a message to the galactic hegemony." As the message was relayed, the human captain's words echoed through the vastness of space, a clear warning to the alien civilization. The humans are ready for war. We will not be intimidated or subjugated. The galactic hegemony has met its match, and we will not rest until our place in the galaxy is secured. The fate of the cosmos now hung in the balance, as the galactic hegemony faced the stark reality of a new and formidable adversary, one that was willing to fight for its survival and its rightful place among the stars. The shockwaves of the battle between the Terran exploration fleet and the crippled galactic hegemony warship reverberated across the galaxy, shattering the aura of invincibility that had long surrounded the hegemony. Back on Earth, the news of the humans' decisive victory galvanized the global population. President Evelyn Garrison and her military advisors wasted no time in capitalizing on the momentum, rapidly mobilizing the Terran Defense Force for a full-scale interstellar campaign. General Samuel Ramirez, the commanding officer of the Terran military, oversaw the deployment of the most advanced warships, fighter squadrons, and ground forces the human race had ever assembled. "We will not let this opportunity slip through our fingers," Ramirez declared, his voice resonating with unwavering determination. "The galactic hegemony has underestimated us for the last time. Now it's time we show them the true might of humanity." Across the void of space, the Terran fleet surged forward, their powerful engines propelling them towards the hegemony's strongholds. Captain John Alvarez, still at the helm of the exploration fleet, coordinated the human forces, his tactical brilliance shining through. "All ships, maintain formation and prepare for the next engagement," Alvarez ordered, his eyes scanning the tactical displays. "The hegemony will not know what hit them." As the human vessels approached their targets, the hegemony's defenses scrambled to respond, their once formidable forces now scrambling to adapt to the humans' relentless assault. Sizov, the disgraced commander whose warship had been crippled by the Terran's firepower, watched in horror as the hegemony's forces were swept aside with alarming ease. "Impossible," he growled, his mandibles clicking in frustration. "How can these primitive humans be overcoming our superior technology?" The answer lay in the humans' unparalleled adaptability and strategic brilliance. Alvarez and his crew had studied the hegemony's tactics and weaponry, and they had developed countermeasures that rendered the aliens' advantages moot. The human warships maneuvered with precision, their energy shields deflecting the hegemony's best efforts. Meanwhile, their advanced weapons systems tore through the alien defenses, destroying capital ships and fighter squadrons with devastating efficiency. Ramirez, monitoring the progress of the campaign from Earth, couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and awe. The hegemony has never faced an adversary like us before. They simply can't keep up with our ingenuity and our sheer determination to win. As the battle raged on, the hegemony's forces began to crumble, their once formidable fleets reduced to scattered remnants. Sizov and his fellow commanders scrambled to regroup, but the human onslaught was relentless, leaving them no time to catch their breath. Alvarez, his face set in a grim expression, issued a direct challenge to the hegemony's leadership. "This is Captain John Alvarez of the Terran Exploration Fleet. Your forces are in disarray, and your grip on the galaxy is slipping. Surrender now, or face total annihilation." The hegemony's response was a defiant roar, but Alvarez and his crew knew that the tide had turned. The human race had emerged as a dominant force in the galaxy, their technological and strategic prowess proving to be more than a match for the once mighty hegemony. As the conflict continued to unfold, the realization dawned on the hegemony's leadership. They were no longer the unchallenged masters of the cosmos. The human race had risen to the challenge, and they were poised to reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: the Terran Exploration Fleet had paved the way for humanity's ascent to the stars, and the galactic hegemony would never be the same again. As the Terran Exploration Fleet continued its relentless assault on the crumbling galactic hegemony, the human leaders back on Earth knew that the time had come to exercise their newfound power and influence. President Evelyn Garrison convened a meeting with her top diplomats and military advisors, including General Samuel Ramirez and Captain John Alvarez, who had led the pivotal clash with the hegemony's forces. "Gentlemen, the tide has turned in our favor," Garrison began, her gaze sweeping across the room. "The hegemony's forces are in disarray, and we have a unique opportunity to dictate the terms of a ceasefire and potential peace negotiations." Alvarez nodded, his expression grim. "The hegemony has never faced an adversary like us before, Madam President. They are reeling from the shock of our technological and tactical superiority. Now is the time to seize the initiative." Ramirez cleared his throat, his brow furrowed in thought. "We must be cautious, however. The hegemony is a formidable civilization, and they will not surrender easily. We must be prepared to use our military might as a deterrent, should they refuse to negotiate in good faith." Garrison considered the general's words, her fingers drumming on the table. "Agreed. We will issue a clear ultimatum to the hegemony's leadership. accept our terms for a ceasefire and peace talks, or face the full force of our military might. With that, the human diplomats set to work, crafting a message that would leave no room for misinterpretation. Alvarez and his crew, still in command of the exploration fleet, were tasked with delivering the ultimatum directly to the hegemony's command center. As the human vessels approached the hegemony's stronghold, Saizoth, the disgraced commander whose warship had been crippled earlier, watched with a mixture of fear and resignation. "So, the humans have come to dictate their terms," he muttered, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "They will not find the hegemony so easily cowed this time." But as the Terran fleet's message was transmitted, Saizoth and his fellow commanders were forced to confront the harsh reality of their situation. The humans' demands were clear and uncompromising: a complete cessation of hostilities, the withdrawal of all hegemony forces from human-controlled space, and the establishment of a diplomatic commission to negotiate a lasting peace. The alternative was the complete and utter destruction of the hegemony's military might, a prospect that filled Saizoth and his comrades with dread. After much deliberation, the hegemony's leadership had no choice but to concede defeat. The humans' technological superiority and unwavering resolve had proven too much to overcome, and they knew that further resistance would only lead to their own annihilation. With a heavy heart, Saizoth transmitted the hegemony's acceptance of the humans' terms, his mandibles clicking in a show of begrudging respect. "So be it, humans. You have won this battle. But the war is far from over. We shall honor your demands for now. But mark my words, the galactic hegemony will not forget this humiliation, and we will be back, stronger than ever, to reclaim our rightful place in the galaxy." Alvarez's lips curled into a faint smile as he received the hegemony's response. "I expected no less from you, Saizoth. But know this, the human race is ready and willing to defend our territory and our way of life, no matter the cost. The next time you threaten us, we won't be so lenient." The ceasefire was established, and the diplomatic commission began its work, negotiating the terms of a lasting peace between the human civilization and the galactic hegemony. But even as the two sides engaged in delicate talks, the human leaders knew that the threat of the hegemony's return would always loom large. The Terran exploration fleet remained on high alert, their weapons systems primed and ready, a constant reminder to the hegemony that humanity was not to be taken lightly. The future may have been uncertain, but one thing was clear: the human race had emerged as a dominant force in the galaxy, and they were prepared to defend their rightful place among the stars. The diplomatic negotiations between the human civilization and the galactic hegemony were a delicate and arduous process, punctuated by moments of tension and uncertainty. But with the humans' military might looming as a constant deterrent, the hegemony leadership had little choice but to engage in good faith. President Evelyn Garrison and her team of seasoned diplomats navigated the complex web of interstellar politics with a firm hand, leveraging the Terran exploration fleet's overwhelming victory to secure favorable terms for the human race. "We will not be subjugated or marginalized," Garrison declared, her gaze unwavering. "The human civilization is a force to be reckoned with, and we demand a seat at the table of galactic affairs." Across the negotiation table, the hegemony's representatives, led by the disgraced Commander Saizoth, conceded to the humans' demands, their mandibles clicking in a display of begrudging respect. "Very well, humans," Saizoth growled. "We shall grant you the recognition and autonomy you seek. But know this, the galactic hegemony will not forget this humiliation, and we will be watching you closely." As the terms of the ceasefire and peace treaty were finalized, a new era dawned for the human civilization. No longer were they seen as a primitive, uncivilized species, but rather as a formidable power that commanded the respect of the galaxy's most influential civilizations. Back on Earth, the news of the humans' triumph sparked a wave of national pride and global unity. The once divided nations of the world came together, setting aside their differences to embrace a shared vision of humanity's place among the stars. General Samuel Ramirez, the commanding officer of the Terran Defense Force, oversaw the rapid expansion of the humans' military capabilities, ensuring that the Terran fleet remained a force to be reckoned with. "We have proven our worth, both on the battlefield and in the diplomatic arena," Ramirez declared, his voice resonating with a sense of purpose. "Now, it is time for us to take our rightful place as leaders and explorers in the galactic community." Under the guidance of President Garrison and her team, the human civilization began to forge new alliances with other starfaring species, establishing trade agreements and cultural exchanges that would pave the way for a future of unprecedented cooperation and prosperity. Captain John Alvarez, the hero of the pivotal clash with the hegemony, was appointed as the ambassador to the newly formed Galactic Council, tasked with representing the human race's interests on the interstellar stage. "We have come a long way, my friends," Alvarez said, addressing the Terran exploration fleet as they prepared to embark on a new mission. "But this is only the beginning. The galaxy holds countless wonders and opportunities, and it is up to us to seize them." As the human vessels ventured forth, their engines propelling them deeper into the unknown, a sense of excitement and anticipation filled the crew. They knew that they were the vanguard of a new era, one in which the human race would leave an indelible mark on the cosmos. The galactic hegemony, once the undisputed masters of the galaxy, now regarded the human civilization with a mix of grudging respect and thinly veiled apprehension. They knew that the balance of power had shifted, and that the future was no longer theirs to control. For the human race, the path ahead was filled with both challenges and opportunities. But with their newfound strength, their unwavering determination, and their unquenchable thirst for discovery, they were poised to carve out a place for themselves among the stars, forever reshaping the course of galactic history.